Hey, I am Max, the creator of Bedrock, and I want to give you a quick overview and demo of what it feels like to work with Bedrock. First, let's start up our local development environment. All that takes is two commands. Docker compose up to start your database, the Stripe webhook listener, and Prisma Studio to look at the database. And then in another tab, yarn dev, which generates a bunch of code for us, and then also starts the next development process that you know and love already. As soon as that's done, we can look at our browser, go to localhost 3000, and you'll see Bedrock. Now, your first reaction is probably, Max, this looks terrible. And you'd be completely right. That's sort of the point. Bedrock comes front-endless. It doesn't include any styling whatsoever. The reason is that, honestly, all SaaS apps look different. Everybody has their own preferences, their own design style, their own everything. And I considered long and hard what component library to include, but really, you just rip it out anyway, right? Like you would just get rid of all of my styling anyway and have to rebuild everything. And so I figured I'm just not going to include any styling. Bedrock only comes with the most minimum required HTML to make everything work functionally, but does not include any styling. You bring whatever component library you prefer or love out of the plethora of open source options that are out there, right? And then you can style your SaaS app exactly the way you prefer and you want to. Now, let me give you a quick demo of what Bedrock does for you out of the box. First of all, you can authenticate, of course. Bedrock comes with magic link authentication. So I can sign up, and then usually I would get an email, but in development, I only log to the terminal, the magic authentication link. So I'm going to copy and paste this into my browser, and I am authenticated. Usually your users would do this from their email, of course. Then I have user settings where I can change my name. I am Max Stoiber, so that's what I'm going to change my name to. That updates, of course. Then I have my user dashboard and the list of all the projects. So let's create a new project for a company. Let's say Feedback Fish, right, which is one of my own SaaS apps. I'm going to create a project for Feedback Fish, and now I'm at the Feedback Fish dashboard. I can go into the settings, and I can invite more users, right? For example, I can say, let's invite hey at mxsdbr.com, which is a totally different user. And now they've been invited. Usually they would get an email. Here, of course, we again log the invitation link into the terminal. I'm not going to click that because I don't actually want to add a second user right now, but in theory, I could invite people like this. The other thing that works already is billing. If I click on upgrade with Stripe checkout, I am now checking out, right? I'm going to enter a fake credit card. This is Stripe's standard testing credit card. Enter any name, Max Stoiber, and I can pay and subscribe. Now, you can use any kind of billing you want. Stripe lets you do meter billing, per seat billing, monthly billing, anything you want. You can configure all of that in Stripe. By default, my example here just uses a $5 per month plan. And as you'll see, Feedback Fish now no longer has an upgrade button, but it has a manage billing button because it is now a pro project. When I click manage billing, again, I get redirected to Stripe checkout, and I can manage my subscription. I can cancel, I can change my payment method. I can do everything I need to do with my billing that I want to. That's what Bedrock comes with. You can have projects with many users. Users can be a member of many projects, and it's completely front-endless without any styling. Now, the thing is that actually, functionality-wise, this is really nice, but the real power of Bedrock is the development setup. Bedrock is fully type-safe from the database all the way to the client. So, for example, let's say I go into my server and I change, for some reason, say you want to change the name of the pricing plan. You don't want to have a pro plan, but you actually want to call your plan the business plan because you decide that that's better for marketing. And while we're at it, why don't we add a second plan called the enterprise plan? Again, just randomly made up names, right? You can change anything you want in Bedrock. There's no abstraction here. It's all just code that wires all of this stuff together. Now, these plans are actually exposed in the GraphQL API. If we run yarn generate, which is the generation script that generates our database client, our GraphQL schema, and our front-end querying hooks, as soon as that schema is generated and we look at it, let's take a look at the GraphQL schema.graphql, which is generated. What you'll see is that my paid plan enum has changed. Previously, it only contained Pro. Now it contains business and enterprise. Now, the other thing that just happened is that based on this GraphQL schema, I've actually now generated front-end querying hooks that are fully typed. So when I do a TypeScript check here, TypeScript will point out that I'm still relying on a pro paid plan existing in my front-end upgrade button, right? If I head to client, components, upgrade button, index.ts, what you'll see is that we import the paid plan variable from the generated GraphQL types. And then we call a GraphQL mutation with the paidplan.pro property, but .pro doesn't exist anymore, right? As TypeScript helpfully points out, there's only business and enterprise. Now, in this case, we actually want to upgrade the user to the business plan, but you could now build a front-end toggle to switch between the enterprise and the business plan, for example. Or if you had a yearly billing and a monthly billing plan, you could switch that there. Stuff like that is really easy. Now, the important part here was TypeScript caught that for us, right? You don't have to have an understanding of your entire code base, right? That's basically impossible. As soon as you build a production project, it's going to grow to a size where you can't keep every single thing in your head. And Bedrock's aim is to make it as type safe as possible so that you don't have to pay attention to everything, because Bedrock and TypeScript will catch these little errors for you. It does that by setting up everything front to back really, really nicely to really tie together in with one sort of red line and make everything work really, really well together. Bedrock also comes with an end-to-end testing setup, an API integration testing setup. It comes with a full CI setup with GitHub Actions. It comes with in-depth documentation on which tools are included and how they work together. It comes with ESLint, pre-commit hooks, prettier, literally everything you need to get started to build your product, so you don't waste any time and can just build your freaking product.